Hello. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are joining from. Welcome to Pitch Club Live. And today I am honored to have the wonderful Eddy Smits. Is that right on your surname, Eddy? I've never said your surname before.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Excellent. So if you haven't joined us, before we hear from Eddy, Pitch Club is a wonderful community that happens twice a week on a Wednesday at 12 p.m. GMT at noontime, or Thursday at 5:30 p.m. GMT in the afternoon. And now Eddy and I know each other through Pitch Club, and this platform is to have deeper, longer conversations with our amazing Pitch Club community members that we don't have time for at our event. So today is all about hearing from Eddy and learning what he sees the value of pitching. So Eddy, please tell
Yes.
us about yourself.
Oh, where shall I start? Um, well, I told my parents the most terrible thing, Martin, parents can hear. So one day I woke up and I told my parents I want to be a clown. And then you need to think that at that point I was a teacher. I was teaching in Belgium, which is a fairly good job in Belgium. Pays well, a lot of holidays. So I'm happy they didn't get a heart attack at that point. But the truth of the matter is, 10 years later, I was a professional clown living from what I wanted to do, from my dream. That was my dream. That was the thing that I wanted to do. And I did it for 25 years. 25 years doing lots of things, performing for 5 to 3,000 people and everything that's in between. So I lived my dream, my first one. And then in 2015, I gave it all up. I had a burnout that I actually realized later it was a burnout. I thought it was like, I don't know, creative hiccup, but it was a burnout. And then it took me a few years to get back on my feet, and I started interested in coaching. And well, logically, coach people now that are willing to follow their dream, who are willing to do what they love, but find themselves in all kinds of fears, challenges, etc. And I help them overcome these challenges because I overcame them one by one. And so I've been there. I know that I understand them, and that's I think the most important thing you can have as a coach is really to walk the waters yourself and to help people. So that's what I'm doing now.
Wow. And I'm just thinking my next question. Were you living full time as a clown for 25 years? Was that your sole income?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the hardest thing, but that took me 10 years. That really took me 10 years. Now 10 years to have a good living. Let's say, I think around 7-8 years I could make a living from it, but at my peak I was doing 130 140K a year as a clown. So I really made a good living. um yeah 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 yeah
Because
and yeah.
I remember how did we meet? Do you remember how we met?
Yeah, I do. I was just on LinkedIn, networking and just asking friends requests of people that I thought. No, I know even exactly why I clicked your name, because you had as a tag, you had crocodile wrestler, and I thought, what the fuck? I'm sorry, can I curse here? Say, what the f? Fuck it out, what's he about? So I did a connection request, and that's how we met. And then you told me about Pitch Club, and I attended and thought it was wonderful. So that's exactly how we met.
Yeah. That's excellent. No, it was 100% that little tagline, that little pitch that I put myself
Yeah,
down there as.
yeah.
And then, so we had a couple of phone calls, and the reason I bring that up is because you didn't tell me straight away that you'd been a clown.
No.
So when we met on our first call, it wasn't mentioned at all, and I can't remember when it was, but it was revealed in a way that I was like, "Oh, wow." I think it
Um,
may have been the pitch. I can't remember. I'm not trying to force that, but
Yeah, it could have been the pitch. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe it was your workshop that I came to. I forget. Maybe it was that one where there
Yeah.
was Simone
Yeah. 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 That's
and somebody
true.
else, and you did your origin story, and then you sort of said, and I did this, and then I told my parents something that I wanted to quit, and I became a clown, and I was like, I've
Yeah.
never met anyone who's done that before. So
Yeah.
it was such a vivid, but you didn't. It wasn't the first thing you said. It was like after a couple of meetings that you sort of revealed that. I thought
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
really powerful because
Yeah, and that's what's also that's the thing that, because after my pitch, it was so powerful to do my pitch in Pitch Club. One, because of the formula. Formula is brilliant, but you can tell it yourself what the formula is. But also you learn so much in doing a pitch, and especially me. You mean I've been on stage for 25 years. I can present myself. I can do all this, but a pitch is like, man, it's you have 3 minutes, right? And it has to be in these 3 minutes, and you want to keep it like, yeah, vivid. You want to keep the attention of people. It's an art form. It's an art form, and you learn so much doing a pitch, about yourself, about how to present, about everything. Actually, it's powerful. It's really powerful. Yeah.
it's so true. I mean, it's the performance, the doing it is super crucial. Otherwise, it's just head knowledge, and you can't really do anything with that. So, I mean, you've come to Pitch Club a lot, which I am so thankful for, and you share amazing feedback, and it's always super constructive, not sugar coated, but really helps people sort of evolve. So,
Yeah.
sort of two questions. It's like, what do you bring from 25 years of performing as a clown to sort of your next set of professional challenges? It's not necessarily Pitch Club, but it's also your coaching. Like, is there
Well,
like what are you bringing back? What are you bringing with you from those experiences? There must be some amazing insights from performance.
yeah, nothing changed. Only the costume changed. Let me explain that. In those 25 years, I also did 10 years of hospital clowning. And even in the last years of this hospital clowning, I did like palliative kids, or kids that were about to die. And you learn everything in that trade. You really learn everything. You learn life. You learn to read people. You learn that the truth is the most important thing you have. You learn everything about authenticity. And it was such a, for me, it was such a powerful period. I also wrote a book about it, by the way. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, and when I see my coaching now, in fact, it is kind of the same as what I did then. So you have somebody, and you listen to that person, and but you listen in eyes that you don't hear what they say. Actually, you see in the way they are talking. Is this right what they are saying? And you find patterns in their speaking that are not okay, so they can't see certain things. And then, by being honest, and that's also what a clown does, you are brutally honest. You know that these kids are going to die in 3, 5 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month. So there's no other way than being honest to these kids. I mean, because if you don't, they will, how I don't know how to put it, but you can't bring laughter when you don't. And being that super honest to your clients as a coach helps them see their stories. They make up stories about everything, and excuses and stories and reasons why they don't do things, and you break them down one by one by just telling them the truth. And it's hard for them. It's hard because people aren't used to being told the truth. I mean, if you haven't seen a good friend in 25 years, and he gained 30 or 40 pounds, you're not telling him, man, you got fat. No, you're sugarcoat, and you said, oh, you gained a few pounds, or you start laughing with it, or you say, oh, you must have like burgers or whatever. But you never tell the blunt truth, and the blunt truth is you're too fat. You're going to die because you're too fat. That's the blunt truth. But you don't. But we don't tell the truth. And as a coach, I think you're obligated to tell the truth. That's the only way you can help your client. And sometimes it's even for me it's difficult. So then we have a coaching call, and I know what to say, and I don't do it. But on the next session, or I even call them up and say, "Listen, it's my fault, but I missed something, and I want to tell you now because I don't want to wait until the next call." And yeah, but it's not for everybody. It's really not for everybody. There are people who take it and take the learnings, and there are people they are a little bit confronted with it but don't do anything with it. So yeah, it's fascinating, Martin. It's really fascinating. The more I do this coaching work, the more I see the resemblance with being a clown in every aspect of the job. Actually, it's yeah.
What you said just then was super interesting. Like the brutal honesty, a clown. Like the role of a clown is to say what others can't, in a sense.
Yeah, that was like the role in ancient days, right? Where you had these clowns or these pantomime guys or commedia dell'arte. You know, they spoke what the people thought, what the public thought, and what was going on, and they mocked with the kings and with the politics and stuff, and they got away with it. If normal people told it, they would be beheaded or what else. And that has always been the power of the clown. That's also the power of humor in general. It's needed. Sarcasm is needed. We need this to survive, to forget things. I mean, things like the Holocaust, all these things, and all these things that are going on now. If you can't laugh with them, laughter is the healing. As long as you can laugh with it, it's then it doesn't matter.
Has your perception changed since the transition? When did you start to have these realizations about the relationship between your coaching and your clowning?
Through coaching. I learned a lot the last years, a lot about myself, actually, also through the coaching, to coaching others. Sometimes you learn more than your coachees from yourself. Through coaching, it's true. It's really true. As I learned in hospitals more about life through these children that I would have ever had in my normal life, let's say as a teacher. It's really fascinating. It's this career and the previous are and certainly now it's a little bit like Steve Jobs says, like connecting the dots, right? You see now things that you didn't see before, and it's every day I'm amazed because I'm writing a new book now, which will come out end of the year, and sometimes when I read things out of my first book, it surprises me, you know. Then I forgot that. I really forgot that, and wow, that is powerful. So I mean, it's fascinating, really.
Yeah. And so, how do you then? Have you ever pitched to clients in the way you just spoke about what you do now? Is that your regular sort of?
Yeah, mostly if I am at network events or stuff, then I do this kind of pitch that I'm not only that, like elaborate, but I really start with, my first career was as an artist, actually as a clown, and that draws people in. It draws people in and it gets their attention. Clowns are still, they are fascinating beings. I mean, they are still the reason why children go to the circus, right? Forget about the elephant. It's all about the clowns, and they have only like 10 minutes in the 2-hour presentation, or how do you call a show? But still,
yeah. I mean, it's so true, isn't it? It's like the I've lost my train of thought, but the relationship between them is super. Like, I'm just I'm sort of, I suppose what I'm thinking when I'm listening is like, how has how is this learning like catching up with the experience? I think that's what's, I think is super interesting.
Yeah.
Sort of moment in this, because so the reason we got connected is because of Crocodile Wrestler, and it's
Yeah.
like it works because you know what it is, but it doesn't make sense in this
Yeah.
context. So that's
Yeah.
people. Oh, okay. So I'll catch your
Yeah.
attention, and
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
like it's a much slower sort of attention grab that when you say you're a clown and how it works with you now, I'm like, wow, it's super
Yeah.
super.
It is. The thing that I don't use it like in a tagline or something is that people don't get the concept of a clown. They don't understand the deeper layer. It's superficial. It's the one with the big shoes and the red nose who makes balloons or whatever. And there's always like people really don't understand it, and that's normal. You can't blame it, because I'm in this world for 30 years, and I sometimes can't understand it. That's why I don't use it as a tagline or as a gimmick or whatever. Also, I think also out of a kind of respect for the clown, that it's not something that I throw out there as being, yeah, being an idiot. Although when in the time when people called me an idiot as a clown, I always say thank you. So I mean, it's the best compliment you can make a clown, of course. But yeah,
That's the whole point, isn't it? That's your
that's the whole
KPI.
point. That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
Yeah, no,
Um,
totally.
uh,
And then, so when you're working with your clients, how much do you sort of, what do you consider the pitch? Like when they're talking to you and you're listening and you're talking to
yeah.
them and they're listening, you're sort of delivering content, messages, advice, feedback in certain ways. Like just talk us through your sort of how you see pitching professionally.
Yeah. See, here also is the same as the clown. On stage as a clown, the less you do, the better your performance will be, and the more attention you will get, and the more laughter you will get. So it's all comes down on doing as less as possible.
Yeah.
And that's the same in coaching. It all comes down as talking as less as possible. Listen, 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 listen. And I gotta tell myself before each coaching conversation, okay, Eddie, shut the F up. Listen, listen. Don't go in too fast. Let them talk, let them talk, let them talk. And so see here also there's a lot of there's a connection, and that's my MO. So I listen what I have to say, and at some point you hear parents, which comes back that what they refer to, or yeah, but that's of course the thing that I have in my experience as clowning. You see that what they say and how their body reacts doesn't match. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
match. And then oh, here is something. And then you ask, okay, can you tell me more about that? And then when it doesn't come yet, then you go deeper. Can you tell me more? Can you tell me more? And more until you peel all these layers and you have the essence, what the real problem is. And people often come to you and they think, oh, I wanna have confidence, and my confidence is weak. Yeah, let's work on my confidence. And then in the first conversation, we peel all these layers. And 9 out of 10, it's not about confidence, or it's not about what they think it is. And that's why they can't resolve it, because they go to the doctor thinking they have a headache, but they have like a wound on their feet. I'm just laughing with it. So the doctor looks at their head and does everything with their head, and the doctor says, sorry, I can't help you, or I give you this and this and this, and it doesn't go away, because they don't see the real problem where it really is. And once you have that, then everything is possible. Then you look at them, okay, where you want to go. So that's also the original. Coaching stems from 1830, where literally a coach brings you from A to B, right? The carriage, the coach. That's the original term. And then it's in Oxford, it was like sport and stuff. But that's where it comes from. So we bring people from A to B. where you are and where you want to go, where you want to be. And we can always only do that, peeling it off, because if they know themselves what's wrong or what they need, then they would have been already at point B. There is something that's holding them back to get to point B. And the thing is to listen, to see, to observe, and to ask the right questions, actually.
Yeah. It's those sprinkle moments, because the whole point is not to talk at somebody for a long time, but to give them a space to externalize and then to help connect the dots and see where things are sort of going. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I mean, what's your next book called? Is it about the relationship between?
It doesn't have a title yet. I'm still working on the title, but it's about actually about the journey, about doing what you love, and all the things, and all the mindset you need to get there, and to put all these things out of the way that keep you from doing what you love. That's where the book is about. So there are topics like money, there are topics like mindset, there are topics, all these topics will be in the book. But yeah, so I've started writing, I think, in October last year. And it will be out end of this year. So, but there's still a lot of work. But writing a book is it's a lot of work. It's really just a lot of work.
And so, I am fascinated, and my brain is trying to catch up with all the sort of implications of like the role you play as a clown, how you integrate, what situations you interact with, and all that sort of stuff. So, I'm like really trying to catch up at this exact moment. And then, I'm really keen to sort of hear more about what you think of Pitch Club, because you've come quite a lot of times, and it's making an hour, and it's sort of saying this hour to me is important, and I'm going to show up and be present and do all those sorts of things. Like, what would you like? Why do you make that hour happen? Can I ask?
Yeah. First of all, because we met, and then if I meet people and they invite me, I go. That's the polite thing to do. And then I got into it. I did my pitch and saw how much I got from that. Right? How much value I got out of my own pitch. Right? Yeah. And also the value I got from the feedback that people give you. And so that's just the thing I want to give back at people. That's it, actually. It's in my nature to help people, to give them not advice, but and as an artist who has been on stage, you see a lot of things, and I really think that of course, everybody takes his feedback what he wants, but for me, it's a nice way. Also, a nice way to meet people. You get to know people, so that's always nice. It's just a good concept, Martin. It's really a good concept. It's fun. It's fun, actually. It's an hour of fun.
Like because we have basically for people who don't know, we have 5 3-minute pitches in the first half an hour, and after every pitch we have an online survey, anonymous from the audience, and then at the end of all the pitches back to back, we then do speaker reflection and group discussion. And it's the sort of whenever we go into the second part where we're about to start talking, I'm always lifted, because I'm like, this is going to get really good now because we're going to start talking. So I like what to you really stands out within that sort of structure? I'm just super curious, because you've been so supportive. I'm just taking this opportunity to dig a bit deeper.
The time frame for me is important. It's like sometimes you go to these things online, they last for 2 hours or 3 hours, and then everybody has other things to do nowadays, right? Than sitting 2 or 3 hours for Zoom. So the concept is it moves, right? That's for one. You also have a lot of variety, right? You have somebody pitching one of the days I was there, he was pitching about video games, and another one was pitching about I don't know anymore, something medical, I think it was. So the variety of pitches is so broad, and also the level of pitches is really, you have guys that are really into pitching, and you have people who come for the first time and they pitch. So it's I like that. I mean, and it's a safe place. It's a safe place. People can try things out. I think pitching should be they should teach pitching in school.
Yeah.
They should use it for. They should use it.
Yeah, 100%.
It's so you need so many skills to pitch, right? You need to know your trade.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know how to speak, how to give pauses, how to make things interesting. You need to make graphics if you need them. It's like visuals. There are so many things you need to give a good pitch. I think people underestimate the what you all need to make a good pitch. It's all these things together, and that fascinates me, of course, as an artist. As in a performance on stage, you also need a lot of things. It's not only what you say; it's the music, it's the pauses, it's the light, it's the timing, it's everything, and all these things together make that it's a good performance. I mean, I had one of my clown show that I performed more than 1,000 times in all these years. That's a lot, more than 1,000 shows. But if I see where I began and then where it ended, it was a totally different show, a performance. And that's what Pitch Club does. If you go pitching and you see, and you move this and you take this and another visual or maybe no visual, and you try things out. And if you do it like 2 to 3 times, or maybe more, I don't know how many times you need. Some people maybe need just 2 goes. You have your pitch, and then it's down to doing this pitch all the time when you meet people.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, it's that supporting community, and I often describe it like comedians when they go on a big world tour. They'll go to the smallest comedy club and just try new material, and I think that's what Pitch Club is. But what really interested me was what you said, linking back to what you said previously about when you're in a clown performance, the less you do, the more laughs you get. And with like pitching, the more confident and relaxed someone is, the more practice they've done. It's like there's this direct relationship, isn't it? It's like less is more and more is less, you know, and the more practice, the less it looks like you practiced. And that is, and what's so interesting, and I keep coming back to it, is your background. Like I've worked with people, we've got their message really good, and yet when they pitch, they're sort of very static because they're not living the performance of the moment. They're just delivering the content.
Yeah, but you can't blame them, of course. I mean, if you're on stage 25 years, you learn some things, and for me, walking onto a stage is like coming home. The moment I walk on stage, I feel at home. I feel it's for me, it's a safe feeling on stage. I wanna talk on stage than like in a group of people on a network event. It's a kind of a safe haven where you know your trade, and where you know if something happens in the audience, you know exactly what to do, and you do it automatically. I mean, if somebody heckles you, then you say hooray, because now I'm there, for example, which makes your show so strong. And people think, how does he get this so quick? But you've done it 1,000 times, right? You know, in your audience, if you're performing, you know in advance, okay, that one is going to do something, that one is going to do something. You know it. You just know it. It's like sometimes I took children on stage, and they were great. You know, they did just the thing you needed to do. And people ask me, how do you know which kid to pick? I mean, in class, he's an asshole. And I was like going, oh no, he picks that one. And he did wonderful on stage. I say, yeah, but that's the thing you read, you see, you that are the things that make you experience. That's the experience. That's purely the experience that you have.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah,
Love it.
a lot of red threads, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it's so interesting because like these conversations are. So we're gonna wrap it up now on the half hour. But that was like, I knew our conversation would be in a slightly different direction to say the other people. But that's the whole point of
Yeah,
the community and having this moment to talk and explore. Because, like you said, Pitch Club moves quick and it's hitting everything it has to do. But there's a lot of space to talk.
yeah.
But we don't get this chance to really talk professionally about pitching, which I think is so interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I really need to thank you too, because I knew what a pitch was. I knew what it was, the elevator pitch, right? But yeah, I'm so glad that I rolled into it and that I did. And that was the first time I pitched something, also for me. And I mean,
Really?
yeah, strange but true. Yeah, I never had to pitch something. Yeah, so it's really good. And I can't make enough advertising for people in whatever layer or whatever profession they are. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter how old you are, what profession you are. If you think you can't do it, if you never pitched, it is an experience, and it is of really high value, and it's free,
Yeah.
Martin. Free. I mean,
I know, right? That's the crazy
right?
bit. But we all do. We're all volunteers. Like you come and give your hour. You know, everyone else, Colin, Andrew, Audrey, Claire, everyone, Kate comes and shares and gives some amazing feedback. But you can see the lift. Everyone's moving in the right direction. I think that's what we need, because like, now we're in these little boxes, aren't we?
Yeah.
So anyway, Eddy, please tell everyone where they can find you. If you have any events coming up, like what's the best thing people can do to get more of you?
LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, you can find everything of me, from me. By the way, and I'm just going to say that I miss the stage enormously. So I haven't been on stage for 6 years now. So I'm going back on stage. But
really?
yes, of course, the stage calls, but in the form of keynote speeches. I'm going to, and that's also in the way of my book. It's all coming together. So I really want to be on stage back again and talking about doing what you love and having the right mindset. So
Brilliant. So people, have you got any events coming up that people should come, workshops? You still do your workshops on Mondays?
Yeah, on Tuesday. It's this one is on Tuesday. But again, if you check LinkedIn, it's always there. There was always a post about my workshops and stuff. So
basically get in touch with you directly, and then from there
just connect with me, and then we start to talk and yeah.
Magic. All right, guys. So go and check out Eddy Smits. Get on his radar. Have a conversation. Have a DM. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Eddy, thank you for your time. It's so good to talk deeper and more varied routes. And I really appreciate you making this happen. So, Eddy, see you again.
Yeah, my pleasure, Martin.
All right, man.
Take care. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.